Hello everyone. In our today's session, we will be going through our last topic of the patent laws or the laws related to patents, and that is infringement of patent. Now, the word infringement here, legally speaking, means that you are doing something which you are legally not permitted to do. Now, till now, whatever we have learnt about patents, you must be remembering that it is only the patent holder who gets exclusive rights to enjoy that patent, to use it, make it, or import it, or sell it in India, or to grant license, or to grant assignment, or to go on utilizing that patent for whatever purposes it has been patented for. So it is only the patent holder who gets a right to enjoy that patent. Anyone and everyone who tries to take away this right of the patent holder, or anybody who tries to do an activity which only and only a patent holder is entitled to do, such activity is considered to be infringement of patent. The Patent Act 1970 goes on laying down the list of activities which will be considered to be infringement, and the word infringement, like I said, you have to take it in the legal sense, which means you are trying to do something which you are legally not permitted to do. Now, as per section 48, there are certain rights which are granted to the patentee, and it is but obvious that even though the Patent Act 1970 does not go on exactly giving a list of activities which will be considered to be infringement, or it has not defined infringement anywhere, but it is but obvious that whatever rights under section 48 are granted to the patent holder, if anybody apart from the patent holder does such activities, it can be presumed that such activity is considered to be infringement. Likewise, any commercial use of patented invention without the consent of patentee will also amount to infringement. So, infringement of patent generally is considered to be one of the most commercially gainable activity, because most of the times what happens is that, like we have already said, patent is one of the most commercially exploited intellectual property, right? So, if one patent holder is getting royalty of, let's say, 1 lakh rupees per month, if somebody else goes on infringing his patent, he can claim damages from the court. He can file a case against the infringer in the court of law, wherein he can go on saying that every month I am getting 1 lakh rupees as royalty, so my damages are 1 lakh rupees plus whatever suffer of loss I have whatever loss I have lost, or whatever goodwill I have lost, or whatever other expenses I have to incur to maintain my invention as confidential, I will get a right to claim that money. So, infringement of patent is also considered to be one of the most important factor. I'll give you one small example which everybody might have heard it in news or read it in newspaper. We all are very much acquainted with Apple mobile phones and Samsung smartphones. If you see closely the Apple and Samsung smartphones, you will understand that there are many similarities with its features. For example, the middle button of Apple, the circular button of Apple, was for the first time launched by Apple, wherein no any other smartphone had a simple utility button on, or utility click on its home screen. Similar thing was started by Samsung. So instead of circle, they started with a rectangle. And then there are many other features between which are common between Apple, Samsung, and Samsung smartphones. The companies started their legal battles for a simple reason. Apple and Samsung both have patented many of their design features across the globe. Currently, if you speak, there are more than 50 patent related cases which are still going on between Apple and Samsung in more than 20 countries. Yes, in some cases some settlement has arrived at, but more than 20 countries there are pending cases which are fought between Apple and Samsung over the dispute of patented icons. Now, one of the case was wherein Apple accused Samsung that Samsung has copied three of its design features, which are: first, the shape of iPhone's a black screen with rounded edges and a bezel. You must have seen it, that Samsung and Apple both have got blackish screen which is rounded. It is not a typical rectangle. Likewise, the second was the row of colorful icons which are displayed on your screen and on your widgets. And third was the bounce back and the tap to zoom features. Now, all these three features were patented by Apple as a design patent in many countries, and it accused Samsung that Samsung has copied these features, which amounted to patent infringement. In one of the country in US, one of the courts held that yes, Samsung has infringed the patented features of Apple, and it was concluded that these features did play a major role in making a lot of money for Samsung phones. Because if you compare Samsung phones and Apple phones, the cost of Apple phone is quite high as compared to Samsung. So if I'm getting the same features like Apple with a half the cost of Samsung, then definitely the consumers started purchasing Samsung phones, due to which Apple lost lot of its income, lot of its profit. And that is why Apple went ahead to claim around $1 billion as its compensation price, as a damage only in one particular case. Now, in this case, the court ordered Samsung to pay $539 million as infringement cost to Apple, but the cost which Apple had claimed was equivalent to $1 billion. So, here when you talk about infringement, now you will understand why I said that in case of patent infringements, lot of money is made by the companies. Likewise, the infringement of patent generally consists of unauthorized making or importing or using or offering for sale or selling any patented invention within India. So, we have been saying that patent rights are territorial rights. So, whatever infringement has to happen, it has to happen in India. If there is a patent infringement in US, you cannot go and try that case in India. Likewise, the infringement proceedings can only be initiated after the grant of patent in India, but may include a claim which has got a retrospective effect. Now, under the Patent Act, only a civil action can be instituted in the courts. In India, we have got a hierarchy system under which you can go on filing your intellectual property rights related infringement cases. So, you have to file a case of infringement which can be defended on various grounds in India. Now, certain activities are not considered to be infringement under section 47, 49 and 107A of the Patent Act. Like we said, whatever rights are given to the patent holder, if somebody else goes on doing that activities, it will be considered to be infringement. But there are certain restrictions to it, and these restrictions are framed on fair use principle. Now, the word fair use means typically if you are using that invention, patented invention, for some purposes which is not commercial purpose, but it is a purpose, might be educational, might be experimental, or maybe for the benefit of the society only, then it may fall under the exemptions or the exceptions to infringement. So, section 47, 49 and 107A go on providing such activities which will not be considered to be infringement. The first one is government use. Like we talked about compulsory licensing, if the use of invention is made by the government for any benefit of the society, then in that case it will not be considered to be infringement. So, let's say for example, any pharmaceutical company tomorrow invents a medicine for invents a vaccination for coronavirus. then in that case, if the government, for the betterment of the society, takes over that patent and goes on using that medicine for the betterment of the society, for making more vaccines so that it can be given to the citizens, then it will not be considered to be infringement of patent, even if the patent is in the name of that pharmaceutical company. The second exception is exemption for research and development, R&D as we call it commonly. Now, research and development is one such activity which has to be conducted, because the more you go on doing researches and developing new inventions, the more patents you will be able to find, the more commercial gains you will be able to get. And if any person, for the purposes of solely experiment or research, is using the patented invention only and only for imparting instructions to pupil, or for experiment purposes or research purposes in the same field of art, then in that case it will not be considered to be infringement. However, if that person is making any commercial use out of it, it will still be considered to be infringement. Another exception is if it is with respect to any medicinal drug, to any medical institution by government. So you must be knowing, nowadays with many diseases spreading across the globe, the governments have given contracts to certain pharmaceutical companies, be it owned by the government or private companies or private medical institutions or hospitals, to use the patented invention, that is the medicine or any drugs or any particular medical drug, for purposes of social good. So if the patented medicines are used or they are distributed to hospitals or to medical institutions for benefit to the society, it will not be considered to be infringement. However, if these patented medicines are for any monetary gain, then it will amount to infringement. Understand, the only basis for distinguishing whether it is infringement or not an infringement is what is the result of that use. If the use is going to be for some commercial activity, commercial means to get profit out of it, to gain money out of it. If it is for any commercial activity, then it is infringement. But if it is not for any commercial activity, then it may fall under the exception. Another exemption is the Bolar exemption and parallel imports, which is pretty much similar to compulsory licensing. So if the patented invention has been used for any development and submission of information under any required law in India or as per any court order, it will not be considered to be infringement. Likewise, the procedure for infringement case is that it can be filed with the Intellectual Property Appellate Board, which is commonly known as IPAB. The reliefs which are available to the patentee in case of patent infringement are: first is a permanent injunction or temporary injunction. The word injunction means a stay order. In common parlance, we call it as stay order. Stay order means to stop doing whatever you are doing. Let's say I, as a patent holder, I come across a person who is using my invention for commercial use. That means it is infringement of my patent, right? I file a case with IPAB and I seek a relief of injunction. Obviously, I want damages as well. Damages means compensation in money terms. But till the time, the person should not sell off my invention and make more money. So I go to IPAB and I say that I want permanent injunction. What IPAB will do is that if IPAB is convinced with my case, IPAB will pass an injunction order, which means that the person, the infringer, will not get any right to use my invention, and whatever activity, infringing activity he has been carrying out, he will have to stop that activity there and there itself. That is the meaning of the word injunction. Next is ex parte injunction. Ex parte injunction means if I have been making an application to IPAB, IPAB goes on, gives notice to the infringing party that you have to appear in the board, you have to submit your case. but somehow the opposite party is not coming for any discussions or hearings to the board, then in that case IPAB on its own, after just listening to my part, can pass an injunction order. On a general rule, as a justice rule, before passing any order, generally IPAB has to listen to both the sides. I will have to put forth my case, then the other party will have to put forth his case, his point of view, and then depending upon both point of view, IPAB gives an order. But if I have been appearing before the IPAB and the other party has not appeared before IPAB, even after sending multiple notices, then IPAB can pass injunction just after hearing my case, and such injunction is considered to be ex parte injunction. Ex parte means single party. After hearing a single party, injunction is granted. The next is very important, that is damages or an account of profit. Like I said, how much damages you have suffered. Damages, like I mean to say, what is the monetary loss which you have suffered. So because of the infringement, if I have lost lot of my sales, lot of my goodwill, like Apple had claimed $1 billion, that is its damages which it wants to claim. Likewise, seizure, forfeiture, or destruction of infringing products, goods, or materials, and predominantly which are used in infringing products. So, tomorrow, let's say I have a patent over, let's say, a laptop, and I have patented a laptop, entire laptop, it is an invention. And I later on find out that somebody is manufacturing my patented laptop without my permission. It is an infringement. Tomorrow I will go to IPAB, file for injunction, likewise I will claim my damages. But whatever laptops the person has already manufactured, that laptops should be taken away from that infringer so that he does not sell it later on. And that particular relief is known as forfeiture or seizure. Seizure or forfeiture means to confiscate the infringing goods. So out of these or any of these or all of these remedies or reliefs can be asked by the party. Now a defendant means a person against whom the case has been filed, and plaintiff means a person who has filed the case in the courts of law. So a defendant in a suit for infringement can take following defenses. Following defenses means, let's say if I have filed a case against one party, I raise my point that the other party has infringed my patented invention. The other party can come up to the court and give any of the following reasons. That is known as defenses. One is that the plaintiff is not entitled to sue for infringement. For example, let's say I am not a patent holder, I don't have a correct certificate of registration of patent, then how can I go and file a case for infringement? Like we said, it is only the patent holder who can file a case for infringement. But if I am not legally eligible or entitled to file a case for infringement, the defendant will get a defense in it. Likewise, denial of infringement or any threat or intention to infringe. If the defendant goes on denying the claim, says that I have not infringed it or I do not have any intention of infringement, the court may consider it. Likewise, assignment or license express or implied to use the invention. If I have already given an assignment, if I have already given a license to the defendant to use my invention, and later on I file a case that no, he has infringed it, the defendant can come up and say that I am a correct or a lawful licensee and I have taken permission from you to use that invention. That is also another defense available. Next is estoppel or res judicata. Estoppel means to stop from saying a lie. If I have already said something and depending upon my statement, the other party has acted upon it, now I cannot go back and say that I never said that words. Let's say for example, I have verbally told the person that I'll be manufacturing my invention, you go on doing the marketing of that invention. That means there is a verbal contract between us, oral contract, Tomorrow, if some that defendant starts marketing that invention and I file a case of infringement against that person, he can definitely go to the court and say that there should be estoppel, means now I cannot go back and say that we never had that verbal contract of marketing. That is the meaning of the word estoppel. Res judicata means the eligible or the court which has got jurisdiction to try the case has already tried the case, has given the final judgment, has given the final order, and now the case has been rested. Rested means there cannot be any appeal with respect to it. Exception to infringement, which we just looked at, so if the use the infringing use is with respect to any of the exceptions, then it can be taken up as a defense. Now for patent in respect of medicine or drugs, then the distribution or use by the government of India is again a defense. So if the government is the defendant, the case has been filed against the government for use of patented medicines, then the government may take up a defense saying that we are doing it for social benefit, and that alleged infringement is not novel or it is obvious. That means it should not even be granted a patent in the first place, meaning after granting of patent, if it is observed that it was not novel, that means anybody knew about it, it was in the public domain, then in that case it can cause to be a defense for infringement. So when you talk about patents, we have gone through the meaning of patent. We tried to understand how patent act was evolved under 1970 legislation. Likewise, we went ahead to understand what are the international agreements or protections granted to patent, what can be patented, it should be an invention, it should be novel, must involve an inventive step, and so on and so forth. And more important, under section 3 and 4, what cannot be patented, this is the list of what cannot be patented. Likewise, we understood each of these 4 criterias in detail. We understood what is the meaning of novelty, what do you mean by prior art search, how the prior art search has to be done. Likewise, what are the elements to be considered for doing the prior art search. The next essential criteria for patentability is inventive step or non-obviousness. We understood what do you mean by inventive step. It should have an altogether different significant value. Likewise, it should be capable of industrial application. I'm just making an invention and it cannot be used anywhere, it has got no utility, then it cannot be patented. We then went ahead to understand the rights of patent holder. Likewise, we understood what are the limitations on the rights of patent holder. The concept of compulsory licensing was taught to you. We then moved ahead in our last session as to licensing and assignment of patent. We said in case of assignment, it is a transfer of ownership and title, but in case of a license, it is just a contractual right to do something. Few of the rights are transferred to the licensee. We also understood the how what are the different kinds of assignments and what are the different kinds of licenses, and how section 69 and 70 of the Indian Patent Act permit a patentee to go on granting assignment and license. And in our today's session, we understood the last part of our patent law, that is infringement, and what are the rights of the plaintiff, as well as what will not be considered to be infringement, and in a suit of infringement, what are the defenses which the defendant can take up to. So in all, this is all about your patents and patent law. In our next session, we will be starting with another type of intellectual property right, and that is copyright. Thank you so much. See you all in our next session.